Greetings, my little lovelies. I hope I find you all well again, and as usual, feeling tickety-boo. Now, welcome to the first episode of the new year of It's a Weird World. And we've got 3 marvellous little videos to show you. The first one is all about astral travel. Another one is about demonic possession. And the third one, the third one is all about a prediction for the end of the world in 2020. Now, let's crack on, shall we? The following has been sent in by a lady called Ning. Ning is from Thailand. I'm going to try and pronounce your surname. I think it's Chiwali. I think I've got that right. My apologies if I haven't. I'll stick to just Ning because it's easier. Ning writes, I have been having astral traveling experiences since I was a child. The first one I can remember with clarity was when I was 4. First I remember falling very slowly out of my body and onto a very cold floor. I don't remember any ties or cords that were connected to me by my sleeping body, but I remember seeing my little body sleeping. I slowly rose through the parlour window, and I felt everything, the coldness of the air, the brightness of the outside street lights, the humming sound and flashes. I had no fear at all. As I rose up to the lights, there were children my age, some in pyjamas and some in medical scrubs. Ning says she thinks they were patients. They were there just floating by the street lamps. When I joined them, we played games, and mostly I remember feeling really happy, but very sad also, because I understood that somehow the children in the medical gowns were very sick. I don't remember how I got back into my body. I just remember waking up the next morning very late. My mother always had a hard time dealing with my experiences. My father was much more understanding and supportive, as we were a spiritual family, and I used to think of my little friends as angels, although I knew deep down they were just children like me. My culture has its own understanding of astral travel, although I was raised in the Catholic faith and strongly believe in God. I believe these gifts of a spiritual nature are from God, and I think these gifts are more common than people might have thought. Ning concludes, I still remember it like it was yesterday. An exorcist based in Oregon, USA, and who belongs to a splinter Catholic group, has stated that incidents of demonic possession are getting darker in recent years. James Cloud, a former Anglican who is presently an archbishop in the Advent Catholic Church, gave an interview to a Portland-based KO96 station after reportedly performing an exorcism. He said, if I hadn't seen half the stuff I've seen in life, I wouldn't believe it either. Until it actually happened, said Cloud, who is also a licensed counsellor, he said the stories would never be believed. Throughout the scriptures, he says, we see examples of angels interacting on earth, devils and Satan himself interacting on earth. Cloud explained to the local media outlet that he feared that too many churches gave a very sanitized approach to spiritual life that omitted possessions, with the exorcist claiming that he was kicked out of the Anglican Church for his focus on spiritual warfare. He also said that as a mental health professional, he first looks for rational explanations for the problems that his patients are experiencing. Many things that would almost mirror someone that's being possessed or oppressed, many mental health conditions will do it too, he continued. He said, I have to find out which is which. Which is the substance use? Is it mental health? Or is it a legitimate issue that's going on? So if I can rule out mental health problems, what I'm left with is something that's potentially legitimate. Cloud warned that modern society, with its interest in drugs, alcohol, Ouija boards and other items, was fueling a need to perform more exorcisms, adding that as the years go by, the cases are getting darker. According to a 2018 gathering of exorcists at the Pontifical University in Rome, the number of requests for exorcisms has tripled over the past decade to about 500,000. While exorcisms are often considered a speciality of the Roman Catholic Church, in recent times there has been a growing interest in Protestant circles over the practice of exorcisms. In May, the Roman Catholic Church announced that they were opening up their annual exorcism course at the Pontifical University to major Christian denominations in response to a reported rise in demonic possessions. Expelling the devil goes back to the earliest origins of the Christian Church, explained Father Pedro Barrajon, one of the course organisers. The Catholic rite is very structured, he said, whereas some of the other churches are more creative. They don't use a precise format. Gabe Lyons, author and founder of the Q Conference, explained during a question and answer summer session held last year that demonic possession is something he believed Protestant churches need to do better with and address more fully. He said there's an inherent interest in these matters. I'm not sure why that is, except that perhaps it's one of the places where the spiritual world really becomes physical. I think on a basic human level, that is really interesting to us. It's the reason they make movies about it, he said. So what do we make of that, folks? Do we think demonic possession is on the increase? Any thoughts? Let us know. The end of the world is upon us in 2020. According to an advisor to several former US presidents who made a number of correct forecasts, unearthed reports reveal. Jean Dixon was one of the best-known US self-proclaimed psychics and astrologers of the 20th century, due to her outrageous newspaper columns that encapsulated the interest of readers. Miss Dixon reportedly correctly predicted the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, writing in the May 13, 1956 issue of Prada magazine that the 1960 presidential election would be dominated by Labour and won by a Democrat, who would then go on to be assassinated or die in office, though not necessarily in his first term. Her claims caught the attention of President Richard Nixon through his secretary, Rose Mary Woods, and Miss Dixon was invited to the Oval Office, where she predicted a terrorist attack in the wake of the Munich massacre, prompting Nixon to set up a cabinet committee on counter-terrorism. It was not only Nixon who took her advice, though. According to reports, the psychic was also confident of Ronald and Nancy Reagan during the 2 terms of the 40th president. Of all her predictions, there is one that did not catch as much attention back then, but is very applicable now, especially with what's happening in the Middle East right now, this week. In her book, The Call to Glory, Miss Dixon wrote in 1971, the years 2020 to 2037 approximately hail the true second coming of Jesus Christ. However, it was not the first time she had made such wild claims, previously predicting the world would end in 1962. Now clearly that did not come true, though the Cuban Missile Crisis did push the world close to a nuclear doomsday. Despite this, she also claimed that cancer would be cured by 1967, and the Soviets would be the first to put a man on the moon. Now this led to the Jean Dixon effect, being populated by John Allen Paulus, a mathematician at Temple University, in reference to the tendency to promote a few correct predictions while ignoring a large number of incorrect ones. However, until her death in 1997, she remained adamant of her psychic ability. She stated in her book, "We must realize our own talents, and having realized, accept them, and play on them like a symphony in which all other instruments are harmonized to make a better universe." She said, "When a vision begins to form, everything changes, including the air around me. I seem no longer to be in the same atmosphere. I feel a peacefulness and a love that is indescribable. I stand alone, and nothing worldly can touch me. I feel I am looking down from a higher plane and wondering why others can't see what I am seeing when I'm having my visions." Some biblical preachers have attempted to vindicate Miss Dixon's claims by stating that 2020 will be the end of the world, prophesied in the 7 seals of the book of Revelation. The opening of the seals of the document is told in Revelations chapter 5 to 8, with several passages describing the events around the earth that occur before the second coming is possible. So guys, what do you think about Miss Dixon and her predictions for 2020? As usual, let us know. Welcome back, my little lovelies. I hope you enjoyed those 3 videos, and a big thank you to Ning for sending in her story and sharing it with us all. While I'm on that subject, if you've got any stories that you'd like to send in, feel free. Don't be shy, we're all friends here. Now, if you're a new viewer to this channel, please hit the subscribe and like button. It would be very much appreciated. You know it makes sense. Now, that's all from me. I'm giggling a lot. That's all from me for this episode. You'll be glad to hear. Until next time, ta-ta, my little lovelies. Ta-ta.